Welcome to another episode of Redesigning Your Relationships podcast. I'm your host, Geovanna Burgess White, with my co-host,
Yvette Valdenegro. I just have to say real quick before you go on, I love, because we do a lot of these intros, I love that it's the same thing. And for whatever reason, because behind the scenes, if anybody ever know, because we are not scripted, we just go with the flow. We usually have a couple funny things that happen beforehand. So, but just know we're having a great time and we love doing what we're doing. All right, so go ahead, more professional start, go.
And so for those of you guys watching us for the first time, welcome. Hope you enjoy this episode. For those of you guys who've been watching and listening, we're so thankful to have you here. And we've been in this like crazy summer series. I kind of want to recap our summer. It's about to end here in Texas. I remember when we were planning out our summer series and then our like what we were going to be talking about this summer, it was all about kind of like life work balance and really working with women entrepreneurs, women business owners to help them rebalance the relationship with their business. And I remember people telling us, oh, Gio, Yvette, everyone's going to be off. No one's going to want to do that, especially the moms. People are out of school. I got to say, it's August. What? I don't even know what day it is. This is how crazy. It's August something. And we have been so busy. We have been doing multiple workshops. We just came off of an amazing collab workshop. And oh my God, if this was not needed, if we didn't do this, this was totally needed. Like all the women are like, thank God that you guys did this. And we just keep on like peeling back the layers of the onion. And there's just so many other things that came up. So today we're going to talk just a little bit about boundaries for work. And the number one thing that I'm hearing when I'm meeting with women is that they're always available for their clients. Like, and you and I have been there. So we love this topic. We're going to talk about this topic. And then we're going to keep going and have a little bit of a series for boundaries in all areas in your life. And we're going to just kind of dissect them one by one. So keep following us for the next couple of weeks. And then we also have some more amazing guests coming up. If you missed last week, oh my God, go back and listen. Simone was on. She just went back to college. She dropped so much knowledge. I'm like so prepared for when my kids go to college. I am so thankful she was on. If you have kids going to college, in college, you're someone in college, listen to her because she has some amazing things to talk about. And so go back and listen to that episode. It's episode 30. So yay.
Yes. Yay. Okay. So I'm always available for my clients. Is that okay? We're not going to answer that. We're not going to answer that right now. This is for everybody listening to start processing and start thinking through for themselves. Is that okay? But let's just kind of talk about what happens in people's minds as to why that would even be a question. For example, this is a huge one, kind of like the scarcity mindset. If I don't answer the phone, if I don't pick up my phone, get a text, there is this mindset of that's money lost out the door. It's the potential of, oh my gosh, it's coming at me. I've got to pick up the phone now. Totally get it. Which really coincides with the other thought process with that is there's a lot of competition out there. Obviously, just look at us. We're not the only relationship coaches on the planet. There's, whatever industry somebody's in, you're going to find that obviously there's other people doing what you do, but what you do makes you unique. However, there's such the fear of if I don't pick up my phone, if I don't answer that question now, are they going to be mad at me? Do they think that I'm not available? Are they going to go to somebody else? I mean, all of those things, and we'll talk about later, but that is just thought processes in people's mind as to, yes, I've got to totally be 100% available for my clients. And then what does that mean? Is that 24/7? Is that during your sleep, when you shut it off, when you wake up, all of those things. But I think that I feel like those are the number one and number two reasons why people go into thinking like, I absolutely have to be available for my clients because I want them to know that I'm totally here for them all the time. And then it becomes, what is all the time?
I'm going to pause you real quick too, because not only is this with entrepreneurs, business owners, this is with teams, different industries, and it's also coming from the top. So it's sometimes like we've met with people, they're like, but that's what my boss does. That's what my company does. And that's what I'm teaching my team to do. And it's not just phone calls, because funny story, not everyone picks up their phone calls. Actually, the best way to communicate is phone calls and follow up, but people don't do that. But I'm talking about DMs, LinkedIn. Instagram, Facebook, wherever you do business, emails, text messages. Text messages is a big one. And so, and we can go down the list, however it is that you communicate, but there's a timestamp on every single one of those. So we're gonna talk about how society in certain industries, and really just the United States of America, has trained you to be like, you always have to be on, you always have to respond. And it's like, okay, but then we're also going to talk about the flip side of what if you have processes in place? What if you're a professional? What if you're like, okay, I have automations, standards, policies, right? Your book of boundaries for your business, for your team, because what you do, your team's going to do. And although you may not have a boss that does that, so I want to talk about both sides, because you and I have been there, and we built a business one way, completely switched it, and we were mind blown, and then we started a business with a great set of boundaries, and we're still working on some stuff, but we think it's like a lot better and very, very healthy compared to how we used to work in an industry that taught us that that's the way we were supposed to think.
Oh, yeah. To be on 24/7. Like,
not, yeah, like an on-call doctor. I'm like, wait a second, but I don't get paid like an on-call doctor.
Yeah. And a lot of that was because that was what we set up. You can't fault someone for doing, or for really coming at you, saying things, picking up the phone, email. You can't be upset with someone when they're doing that, when you literally have set the tone to do that. And I promise you, I know that I have said or did say in the past, oh, I'm always available. Unless I am sleeping or doing something, I'm so there for you. Instead of just saying, I am so much there for you, but just understand there may be times where I cannot get back to you. But generally, the hours of this to this, I will get back to you as soon as, within 24 hours or whatever it is. But but I've got to answer the phone. I got to meet that need. And I want them to know that I really care about what they're going through, what they need from me, and what I can help them with. Absolutely. Okay. Before we move on though, I think that's huge what you said about that it comes from the top down, because the other part of this is that part of that competing is, if you're in a corporate, your boss asks you to do something, then now you're competing with all the other people, say in your sales team, who's going to do the best. I would venture to say, and I think this is big, if you could sit down your boss and talk to them and say, would you prefer that I am available from 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. at night, answering everybody's phone call, doing everything that I can, and really just like driving myself on the ground and not getting as much sleep and not taking care of myself, but maybe my numbers will be a little bit better and bring in more money to the company? Or if you switched it around and said to your boss or whoever it is that you're answering to, hey, listen, these are my hours that I'm available. However, I have come up with some great ideas to be of better service to the people that we are reaching out to, or the people that we already have, because we both know that service is truly what's going to bring more financial gain. So if you're bringing more value to your client, I can guarantee you they're not going to care if you're available from 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. at night, because if you are available from 8 to say 5 p.m. and then that's it, they're going to make a way to get to you, talk to you, because they're like, oh my gosh, every time I talk to her, she is dropping things that I need. She's helping me. There's so much service and value that's going on. I'm going to buy what she's got. I'm going to meet with her, and I'm going to keep going with this person. That is truly, it's like switching. It's not necessarily the time that you're putting into it, because time isn't going to give you necessarily what you want, but what you're wanting is truly to serve your client and bring that value to them.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I think that's amazing. And I think that more people people don't think that way. And we have a blend of clients. Most of them are small business owners and entrepreneurs. And you and I both have built a business to really understand, to meet the needs. And it's also, who are your clients, right? That's extremely important. And a lot of our clients do work during the day. So we have made, the process is really easy. You just book an appointment with us, and we've made it to where you have morning appointments, midday appointments, And then we even have Saturdays available. We both agreed on that because there's a lot of people who can't get with us during the week. But it's amazing how we have built a business with only 3 days of availability. That's it. The people can't book us. Now you still have some other things that you're doing, and I have some other things that I'm doing on the side as well, but we have other days for that. And so it's like very like, it's almost like if you can't fit the time in the schedule, one or two things need to happen. There may not be our client, because I'm not going to move my schedule around my client, so may not work. Or B, you have a one-time conversation and say, hey, I would still love to get you on. Like, what other days look good for you? Let me see what I can do. But this is a one-time only because this is our availability. Same thing when we went on vacation. I know you and I both, before coaching, before doing this full time, we would take work on with us. And that's one of the things that I said I will absolutely not do anymore. But there's processes in place. There's things that are happening. There's communication on the back end. People know we're out. We don't book appointments. We get work done before, talk about calendar integrity. And then we come back and not feeling like we have to play catch up. I don't know how many vacations we've already taken this year. And I've come back and I'm like, oh my God, this is fantastic. This happens with people all the time, especially in the corporate world. That's boundaries. Like, oh, but I got to still take calls. I got to still check my emails. That's not a vacation. So these are the things that we hear. And I'm like, we're here to tell you that it can happen. And all you have to do is create those boundaries. And what does that look like? And everything that you don't like that you're doing, because this is the most important thing, what you don't like or what's stressing you out, that's what you need to change. And you got to put the processes in place. We don't have someone doing it for us, but there's, again, the emails, social media, talking to our clients. Same thing when our clients go out of town, we make sure that we're doing their 6-month program. We're talking about their vacation time. So it's very structured, and talk about the load off. And all of our clients that have worked with us are like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, creating that life work balance you have to have boundaries. You can't do one without the other. And so for those of you guys who are out there, the women that are listening, and you're like, oh, Gio, whatever, you don't know what you're talking about, Yvette, you know what you're talking about. We absolutely do. We've done it. We did it in a business where they still tell you that that's what you have to do. And we left that industry with some great processes set up. And honestly, we were attracting the client we wanted to work with. And we can give that example. It's a quick example, the wedding industry. I mean, we work with clients sometimes a year and a half. You think that I can be on 24/7 for 10, 15 clients at a time for a year and a half? No. It's in the contract. How much time are we? When are we going to talk? We're probably not going to talk for 6-7 months. All my clients would freak out. They're like, sign a contract. I'm like, bye. I'm not going to talk to you. Go be engaged. Go have a good time. But then when it comes up to the wedding, it's like you have vendors, a list of 10 to 12 vendors. Your clients are starting to freak out. You're the wedding coordinator, wedding planner. It's like, no, we have a contract. We have boundaries. You can't be calling me all the time because I have other clients. So when you allow that, like you said earlier, you're setting the tone for that relationship, and now you're working with people you shouldn't be working with. If someone were to come to me today and say, what's the process of booking a wedding? This is what it is. This is how many times we're going to talk. Here are my hours of operations. And here's a link that you have to book to talk to me. Not my cell phone, not my text message. You can email me, but if you want to schedule like a consultation or a time, and you have it to where it's like 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, you have it so well done on the back end. And then when you're out, you're out. It's all on automation. If you can't do that for yourself, you're not going to make it in your business. You're just going to always be the feeling of like, I'm always on. I can't come home and turn off the phone. Like, you should not be using like this. The relationship with this, we're going to do a whole series of this, is insane. So, and we did it. We did it, and we absolutely kind of changed the game in our industry. Little disruptors over here. And now we moved on, and we're doing great things with our clients, and we're teaching our clients to do the same thing. So we know it can happen.
I think it's, to some degree, I'm not going to say it's like, oh my gosh, it's not a comparison thing, but in some degree, if you do have a 9-to-5 job, that you have to unplug, because some people, their computers or systems or whatever, they literally shut down. Like, you can't get on there, it's done. But I think that's sometimes a little bit easier than people who are entrepreneurs, because you're the one that feels you're doing everything. You're answering the phone, doing the emails. So there is no off. So you have to set that off because there isn't any. No one's telling you. The computer doesn't just shut up. I'm sure you can program it to shut down for you, but it doesn't. No one's, there's not like I'm sorry, but this company shut down. Like Google will tell you closed at this time. And even though you can put that in Google, people still will reach out. People will still try to contact you, and you will still feel that trigger of, oh my gosh, I want to answer that email or that text message because what if they go away? Which again goes to scarcity.
I think it's also in the way that you present yourself, the way that you speak, the communication you have with your client, the contracts that you have with your client, because every single one of our clients is a product or service business. And I also think the first conversations, the first meetings, it's like, I really do enjoy my time off. I like to have life work balance. So in order for this relationship to work, I really want you to understand that these are my hours of operation. And some things may come up and I may not be available, but that's just how I run my business. And I think most people would be like, oh my God, of course, I respect that, versus someone who's just like, oh, let me call you back, or on the phone with you and like, oh, I'm not the full attention, not taking the right notes, gets lost in communication. You place an order, it's the wrong time. Well, but I texted it to you. It's like, okay, I would rather go with person A. Oh, well, yeah, thank you. Okay, well, I'm going to read that contract. Make sure you sign here. This is my you can't mess up. This is my calendar link. Everything gets booked through here. Email here. Have it. Don't be bold. With the workshop yesterday, I will have emails by the end of the week. That to me, that was Tuesday. I can have emails by the end of the week. I used to be 24 to 48 hours, but I said, you know what? I can't. That's too much pressure for myself. There's other things already in my calendar when things come up. So I said, by the end of the week. And, people message me and I said, yeah, no problem. Same thing. I will have that to you by the end of the week or before. But that's just like, you have to have that open communication. And I think people, especially because we teach this, I think people are more open to work with someone that's more organized. It's professional. And nobody wants to feel like the pressure of competition. Like, that, like, a true open communication, someone that wants to serve you versus someone who wants to sell to you. And I think that's the difference. And again, you have to do that from the very get-go. It's those first impressions. You can't change those first impressions. And if someone's like, oh, but you picked up the phone, or you emailed me at 1:00 in the morning, or you answered that LinkedIn, people are going to see that. I'm like, oh, that just takes one time, 2 times. And you're like, oh, well, I probably shouldn't have done that, because they can see that everything's documented with time. So yeah, you're going to take time for yourself and get your business in order. But that's really so easy compared to what we're talking about right now, and trying to go backwards. No clients are going to go backwards with you. If anything, just start like that. And yeah, you may not have as many, but this is quality versus quantity.
Yeah. Okay. So again, if you're looking at it, it says, I'm always being available for my clients. Is that okay? Again, just say you're saying yes to yourself. I feel like eventually that leads to burnout, because you are spinning your wheels all the time. So
should I put the picture of what that would look like?
No.
Okay.
No. Because if they want to see the picture of what that looks like, they need to come to a workshop. Okay. But no, because that is 100% burnout.
Yeah.
And we both know that is one of the huge reasons why businesses go under and don't succeed, because they're so freaking tired, which is completely understandable. Which then that goes into it's so quick to have a passion that you are so burnt out, and all of a sudden you don't even like it anymore. You lose interest, you're worn out, you're like, this isn't even fun. And then you just kind of question yourself, like, why did I even begin this to begin with? And then you're feeling like, I just resent the very thing that I just spent so many hours doing. So is all of business failure, burnout, and resentment really worth all of that? Again, don't think of it as, but I'm losing and I'm losing. No, think of what you're gaining and what you're giving. Focus in on the service side of it.
And it's also going to be how you run your business is also going to be how the rest of your relationships work. So it doesn't matter where you are, if you're married, not married, have kids, some other relationship is going to take a toll. And normally it's on your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your spouse, your relationship with your kids, and now you're teaching them that it's okay to always be on for your clients. So as your kids grow up, or if you have a spouse that's also has, a full-time job, like, oh, but you're always on the phone. And trust me, this has happened in our household. It's something that I've had to change a system for over 20 years of always being on, and now I'm going, oh my God. And it's been even for me, it's been like, oh, I'm not, but like the phones go away. And so it's this whole, it's a domino effect on your other relationships, which is why we started with work. So if you're listening to us today or watching us and you're like, okay, this doesn't make sense, I'm not really sure, just book a call with us. We do 45-minute complimentary consultation. We do it virtually. There's an assessment that you take before. Let's talk about your business and let's see how we can put these processes in place. If you aren't in Houston, no worries. We work with our clients virtually. But if you are in Houston, then we do workshops once a month. We'll have a link to our calendar. We'll have a link to our calendar for our consultations, our calendar for our workshops. And we love, love, love our boundaries workshop and our life work balance workshop. And those are all coming up within September and October. So you can sign up. And it really is life-changing. And we have great, amazing client testimonials on our website and on our social media. And they really have completely changed the way they run their business. So we're so thankful for you to be on. You know where to find us, anywhere YG Collaborations. Everything will be in the show notes and anywhere that we're on. And if there's something that you want us to talk about, is there a topic with any relationship in life, let us know. And then stay tuned for some amazing guests that will be coming up this fall.